Okay, we've been talking a lot about the 224 unit, and Leah and I wanted to take some time to explain exactly what it is that we're talking about. And the 224 unit is something that we felt like God put on our heart, a message, a concept, a way to help explain the principles of marriage, especially first responder marriages. And it comes right out of the very first book of the Bible, the book of Genesis, the second chapter, 24th verse. And I'll read it. It says, "Therefore, a man leaves his father and mother and embraces his wife, and the two shall become one." And that's the whole premise behind a 224 relationship. Our spouse has got to be us. We've literally, as in God's word, two become one. We've got to be invincible, inseparable, unflinching. Our spouse has got to be the most important person on this earth. But below our relationship with God, the natural relationship with our wife has got to be our priority. It's got to be more important than the relationship with our kids and our brothers and sisters and our parents and in-laws and the guys on shift, the people we work with from other agencies or in a task force. Our spouse has got to be number one. Number one. And not just saying it, we've got to show it in a tangible way. Because that is the natural and the supernatural order of relationships as the way God created it. So we were created to connect in a relationship with God. We were connected in a relationship with each other, with our spouse. And that relationship has got to be number one. When you start putting your kids above your spouse, when you put your shift mates or your partner above your spouse, that's when things fall apart. Because that is not the intended chain of command. That is not the hierarchy. And a lot of times people, my kids, I live for my kids. Hey, that's great, live for your kids, but live for your spouse. Your spouse has got to be number one. When you put your spouse as number one, everything else falls in place. We're used to chain of command, right? So when we order our lives in such a way where it's God first, our spouse second, our kids third, and then it could be family, and then work comes somewhere down there. That's when things fall in place, and that's when they operate orderly in the way they're supposed to. And the part of the 224 unit is it's developing that marital Kevlar, making yourself bulletproof to all the temptations and the attacks and the salacious allegations that are made against you as a police officer or a first responder and your spouse for being married to one. And unless you do develop that 224 unit, you open yourself up for attack, for suspicion, for temptation. Living that 224 unit and focusing and showing it in a tangible way. Not just saying, oh, you're number one or this. Show it. And dedicate the time. Focus on your spouse. Put your spouse above everything and everyone else. That is the principle of the 224 unit. And when you put your marriage first, your marriage is going to last. So Leah and I are praying for you. We love you. Thank you for your service and your sacrifice. And God bless you.